If you're a financial advisor, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's this constant building pressure coming from the top down. Well, today, we're going to put a name to that pressure. We're going to unpack not just why it's happening, but how it's actually creating this huge hidden opportunity. So let's just dive right in.
Does this sound familiar? I bet it does. It's that feeling of being squeezed, right? Where your ability to actually use your own judgment just seems to be shrinking year after year. The thing is, this isn't just in your head. It's a real structural shift that's happening across the entire industry.
And that really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. I mean, what if this pressure you're feeling, what if it isn't just some temporary phase? What if it's actually by design? What if this is the logical, intended outcome of the very system we're all working in?
You know, the first step to dealing with any problem is to give it a name. So let's do that. We call this the advisor crunch. Just naming it, it validates the experience, right? It confirms you're not imagining things. You are operating inside a system, and that system has a very clear agenda.
Okay, so here's the big takeaway from that. The advisor crunch is a systemic problem, not a personal one. It's this top-down force that's designed to make everything more profitable and predictable for the institution. It has nothing to do with your performance and everything to do with the system's priorities. And once you really get that, you can stop blaming yourself and start analyzing the machine you're working inside of.
So the big question is, why? Why is all of this happening right now? Well, to really understand the crunch, you have to understand the economic engine that's driving it. And let me tell you, at its core, this isn't about some new philosophy or even about client experience. It's about one single overriding metric.
And that metric is net interest margin. It's the difference between the interest a bank makes from loans and what it has to pay out on deposits. It is the absolute core profit engine. So when an institution gets obsessed with maximizing its NIM, anything that creates unpredictability, like your individual judgment or a custom solution for a client, suddenly that's not an asset. It's a risk that needs to be stamped out.
This slide really just lays out the disconnect you probably feel every single day. The story you're told is all about innovation and client experience. But the reality on the ground is just this relentless push to standardize everything and squeeze every last drop out of the margins. And this isn't an opinion. It's just the structural reality of the system.
And here's the thing. When a system's logic fundamentally changes, so do the roles of the people inside it. This is a tough pill to swallow, but it is absolutely essential to grasp. Your role isn't what you thought it was anymore. It has been structurally reassigned by the machine you work for.
Now, let's be really clear here. This is not an insult. It's a technical description of the role the system needs you to play. From the system's point of view, cogs are meant to be predictable. They're meant to be interchangeable, and yeah, they're meant to be replaced when a more efficient one comes along. That's the hard, cold truth of the position you've been put in.
And why is that? It's because in a system that is obsessed with scale, uniformity is way more valuable than customization. Predictable execution will always beat bespoke craftsmanship. The machine just isn't built to reward your unique judgment anymore. It's built to reward your compliance. So this creates a really stark choice. It's a fork in the road, and there's no middle path. You can either acknowledge this new reality and adapt your game, or you can try to ignore it and, frankly, risk being optimized right out of the system. That warning isn't emotional. It's just mechanical. Here's where the whole story pivots, because the very same pressure that feels like this huge existential threat, well, it's also making it crystal clear what is truly valuable. It's creating one of the biggest opportunities for advisors in decades, but only if we reframe what's actually happening.
I want you to think of the advisor crunch not as some force designed to crush you, but as a giant filter. It's rapidly separating the tasks that can be commoditized from the human value that is irreplaceable. It's forcing a choice, and right there, in that choice, that's where your opportunity is.
The very machine creating all this pressure also shows you exactly what it can't do. It's fantastic at scale, at repetition, at optimization. But you know what it's terrible at? Judgment, accountability, and leading a real live human being through a complex emotional decision. That right there, that's your defensible territory. So, the path forward isn't about fighting the machine head-on. It's about strategically moving away from the tasks it's designed to replace. It's all about reclaiming the one thing it can never, ever automate: your judgment. Just let that sink in for a second. The threat isn't technology. It's not AI. The real threat is surrendering your thinking, outsourcing your most important decisions, and just staying in the pre-approved lanes the firm gives you. The second you no longer own your judgment is the second you become replaceable. So, how do you actually start?
Okay, first, just acknowledge it. Find one key decision you currently just let the firm handle, something like asset allocation. Second, redefine your value. Pinpoint the client problem where your judgment really truly matters. Maybe it's navigating the chaos of a market crash. And finally, you execute. Design a repeatable process that you own from end to end for guiding clients through that specific problem.
So this is path number 1. You can accept the role the system gives you. You become an executor of standardized directives. You're a distributor, an explainer, a reassurer. You become a component, a part number.
Or you can seize this opportunity and become something else entirely, a diagnoser of complex human problems, the person who leads decisions when emotions are running high, the one who navigates tricky family dynamics and provides real accountability when it matters the most.
And that brings us to the final, unavoidable choice. The pressure? It's permanent, but so is the opportunity. The advisor crunch is either going to crush you into a replaceable part, or it's going to catalyze your evolution into something the system desperately needs but can't create on its own.
So that's the real question, isn't it? What are you going to choose? Are you going to keep operating in a role that the machine is literally designed to replace? Or are you going to do the hard work of redefining your value around something the system cannot and will never be able to replicate?
When it all comes down to it, it's this simple. The machine is a filter, and it is ruthlessly effective. Your response, how you adapt, how you execute, that's your choice. And believe me, that choice is going to define the entire future of your career.